Hey there, third grade. We're going to go ahead and get started today on lesson 2.4, which is going to be focusing on multiplying by 10. Go ahead, grab your math books, open up to page 53 is where we are going to be starting today. And at the end of our lesson today, we want to make sure that we can say, I can use place value patterns to multiply by 10. All right, so we're going to be talking about what does it mean when we multiply by 10, and what does that look like in our different equations today. So let's go ahead and turn to the next page. You're going to be looking at the place value patterns. This is on page 54. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my whiteboard to kind of help us out. But you can follow along what's on here as well as we get started on these. So when we are multiplying by tens, all that means is that we are going to put the 0 at the end to change the place value. Now, the lesson before we were talking about the identity property of multiplication. So if I had 2 times 1, remember the identity property says whenever we multiply by 1, the first multiple is the one that we're going to keep. So 2 times 1 is going to be an answer of 2, because whenever we multiply something by 1, it's always that other answer, right? But what if we change this just a little bit today? And instead of it just being a 1, we put that 0 behind it. Well, if you take a look here, I still have 2 times 1, and that's where this 2 comes in right here. However, we have a second part of this, and maybe you remember from yesterday when we were talking about multiplying by zeros, and the 0 property of multiplication tells us anything times 0 is going to be 0, right? So if I do 2 times 0, well, that's going to be 0. The 0 is in the ones place here. My 1 was in the tens place, so when I do 2 times 1, my 2 stays in the tens place, and look at that. My answer is 20. This is what multiplying by 10 looks like. Let's try another one real quick. This time, if I have 7 times 10, and you can see, again, on page 54 already, they've got it. But let's take a look at what does this really mean. Well, when I multiply, I'm going to start with my ones place, right? 7 times 0, because that's in the ones place. That's my 0 property. And anything times 0 is going to be 0. So in my ones place, I'll put that 0 because 7 times 0 is 0. Now I look at my tens place and I say, well, 7 times 1. Here's my identity property. Anything times 1 is going to be that first number. So 7 times 1 is going to be a 7 in my tens place. So it is 70. All that this means is that that extra 0 moves the first number into the tens place value, and then we put that 0 into the ones place value. All right, so this is one of the ways that we can take a look at our multiples of 10. If you'll turn with me to page 55, let me grab that real fast. All right, we're going to look at another example right here as well. All right, so at the top of page 55, we've got another example, and that is using a number line to find multiples of 10. If you look at my number line here, all of these are multiples of 10. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Well, if my equation is 3 times 10, these are my tens. It says I want to jump 3 times, and I want to go by 10 each time. So I'll start here with my 0, and I'll jump 1, 2, 3, and I ended up at 30. So 3 times 10 equals 30. These are just different ways that you can look at multiples of 10. But let's go ahead and take a look at some that we can try on our own. All right, so if we slide down here to our guided practice, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can see on here with me. Perfect. All right, let's take a look at number 3. All right, number 3 is 2 times 10. Well, we already know 2 times 0 is going to be 0. So then I can ask the question, well, what's 2 times 1? 2 times 1 is, I hope you said it with me, fill it in right now, 2. So my answer is 20. 2 times 10 equals 20. Could you go ahead and try out number 4 right now on your own? Take a look at that one right there, 6 times 10. They've already put a 0 in there, so what's our tens place going to be? Go ahead and do it now. I hope you took the time to solve number 4. All right, 6 times 0, our 0 property says it's going to be a 0. And then 6 times 1 is our identity property. 1 times anything is going to be that first number. So in my tens place, I need to have that 6. So my number is 60. Take a look at number 5. For number 5, we're going to solve the exact same way. 8 times 10. All right. Well, in my ones place, 8 times 0 is the 0 property, which means my ones place is going to have a 0 in it. And then I'm going to have 8 times 1 in my tens place. Well, there's the identity property. Anything times 1 is going to be that first number. So my number would be 80. Nice job. Take a look at number 6. I want you to try that one on your own. So pause the video right now and try number 6 on your own. I hope you paused the video and tried it out. Take a look at what we've got. 9 times 10. If we follow the same order we've been doing, 9 times my zero's in the ones place, so that's a 0. And then 9 times 1 is 9. So my answer here is 90. All right. I hope you're able to solve that as well. All right. If we zoom out just a little bit, we're going to take a look at number 7 because it's a little bit different. This is using the number line. And so they've already got our number line written out for us. We just need to solve. So ask yourself right now, if we're jumping by tens, right? How many jumps do I need? Well, I just need 1. So I start at 0 and I do my 1 jump. And where did I end up? I ended up at 10. All right. I want you to go ahead and pause the video right now and you try number 8, 5 times 10. Make sure you use the number line. Even if you like the other way we were doing it by just writing in the ones place and then the tens place, I want you to try this one using the number line. So pause the video and do number 8. All right, let's check out number 8. So for number 8, if I have 5 times 10, I want to jump by tens. So we've got those listed down here. How many jumps do I want? I want 5 jumps. So I'm going to do 1 jump, 2 jumps, 3 jumps, 4 jumps, 5 jumps. And where did I end up? I ended up at 50, 50. All right. Nice work. All right. There is only one last problem that I want to check out with you, and that's going to be number 13. So would you come down to number 13? All right. For number 13, they've left one of the multiples open here. So I have to ask myself, 5 times what is going to give me 50? Well, if I try this out, I can say, well, let's start in my ones place. 5 times what will give me a 0? Well, the 0 multiplication property tells me anything times 0 will give you 0. So I need a 0 in my ones place. I'm just working backwards. And then I say 5 times what will give me an answer of 5. 5 times what? Well, the identity property tells me if my beginning number and my end number are the same, then I need to multiply by 1. So for number 13, I would need to say 5 times 10 equals 50. All right, you can go ahead and start working on your own on numbers 9, 10, 11, 12, and 14. And thanks so much for hanging out with me today. You worked so hard. I hope you're able to do those, and we'll see you next time. Have a great rest of the day, 3rd grade.